to Johanna, Karen, Omaris, and Kimberly. I know half of them aren't here right now, but you know, it's so kind of them to have me.
They would be, but we had another event that we had to be at too, so we split.
God, you can be in two places at once? Yes. And also thank you to Team Caitlin for setting up all the technical aspects. Alright, well my name is Caitlin McDonald. I'm a second-year PhD student over at the University of Exeter in England. So that's, I'm kind of halfway through my PhD. And by now, if you've made it to this talk, you probably know that I research belly dancing and globalization, which basically means I research how and why belly dance is now performed in so many cultures around the world, as well as in the place where it originated and where it's still practiced socially, as well as in a performance setting. Last year I spent 4 months in Cairo doing research, from September to November when I was actually doing the research, and in April I was there just taking a language course so I could get things at the grocery store when I went back. I intended to spend 9 months there to a year, but that didn't happen. Instead, I had a lot of adventures there, but I also got really sick. I got some very severe asthma symptoms, and it became clear that I couldn't stay in Egypt, or if I did, I had to stay inside the whole time, which wasn't really conducive to doing research. So that didn't work out so much. So I had to redesign my research and start doing something else, which is why I've been traveling around America, and I'll be going back to Britain in about a week to start interviewing dancers over there. So that's what I've been doing, and I had really, 3 interesting months in Cairo, and I did get some research done. So the rest of the talk will be 2 parts. First, I'll talk about slides from my research based on one evening where I saw both spontaneous dancing and a planned dance by a friend of mine who was performing. And I'll also talk about kind of the structure of the tourist dancing market in Cairo and working as a foreign dancer in Cairo. Then I have a few slides from my everyday life in Egypt to share. And then we have time for questions. So that's everything. Before I show you any slides though, there's 2 things that just are imperative to remember for the rest of the evening. These are the most important things you can take away from the entire, if you want to take notes, now would be the time. There's a reason that I'm an anthropology student and not a photography student. Secondly, there's no way that I could share the full depth of my experience in Egypt with you. I can only give glimpses of what it was like and hope that you take from this evening a desire to go there or to learn more about Egypt for yourself. All right, next slide, please.
Can you say something in Arabic real quick? Like
Yeah,
a little spread or something?
Urid aish, that means I want some bread. Urid shai, that means I want some tea. Shukran, that means thank you. A little bit more will come up in the presentation.
Okay. It's really good to say something.
It's been a while since I've had to say it, so I'm a little out of practice. So as I said, I'll discuss one evening's research observations. So I saw both spontaneous dancing by a wedding party that we didn't know was going to be there, and also a planned performance by my friend Lorna, who works on the Golden Pharaoh dinner cruise boat. Next slide, please. This is where Lorna works. My close friend Lorna, she's also one of the best research resources that I had while I was in Cairo. Lorna's Scottish. She's a professional belly dancer. She works on the Pharaoh dinner cruise boats, and they dock. That right there is the restaurant, and they kind of dock on either side of that, although neither of them are there in that picture. And then that's the inside, that's like the bar area, and then the bottom, this is the inside of the temple on the dock, and you'd really only go there if you had a party too large for one of the boats to accommodate. So on this particular evening, it was late November, and I'd gone to see her show with my 2 roommates and some women who were attending a dance festival in Cairo. They were both British at the time, and they were just visiting, so they came along to the show as well. And you can't, let's see. Lorna works on both of the boats, sometimes both on the same night, depending on how many people have been booked for the show that evening. So sometimes she tells me she'll be working on one boat, so she'll do one set, and then she'll have to get in this little speedboat, zoom over to the other boat, do a set, get back on the speedboat, go back to the other boat, do another set. It's all very James Bond-esque. So, all right, next slide. So before the show, we were sitting in the temple area, waiting to be let on the boat, and Lorna was with us. She'd gotten off the first cruise, and they're cleaning the boat and everything. So we're all waiting. Suddenly, there's this whole commotion, which was coming from the stairs up to the street. So we kind of raced out to see what was going on, and there was a wedding party arriving, and they're coming down the steps. Can you guys see that, or is it too bright? I think it's good. Okay. So they're coming down the steps, and as you can see, there's a film crew that's taking a video of them, and the bride is right there. She's kind of directly behind that guy that's holding the camera. And maybe not so clear are these musicians that are dressed in pharaonic headdresses. There's a guy, you can't see him in the photo, but he's playing the bagpipes. I don't know why this is a really popular gimmick in Egypt, both at tourist places and at like local Egyptian things. Like we went one time to see the Pyramid Sound and Light show, which is so campy that you have to go and see it if you're ever in Egypt. It's awesome. And when you come in, there's a whole row of these guys that are dressed in these pharaonic headdresses, and they have little like collars and things on, and they're all playing the bagpipes, and they're playing like "Can You Do the Can Can" and things. And you're like, that's cool. Yeah. And so I thought that it was just a touristy thing, but clearly these people they're Egyptians. They live in Egypt. Their friends are all Egyptian, and yet they've chosen to have this same thing at their wedding. So we thought that was interesting. Next slide. Thank you. This is in the temple. There you can see the procession coming forward. They're all in their little pharaonic gear, and they're playing the trumpet, and they're doing their thing. And then there's the bride, and ahead of her is the musicians, and behind her is a little kid who's trying to sneak a look up her dress. Let's see. Because we were all sitting there, and there were about 6 of us, and we were all girls, everybody's like calling us up, and what they're doing. The wedding party is all clapping and singing, and there's music playing, and they're all making the cigarettes because that's what you do at a wedding. And the boat workers were also there as well. So all the people that worked on the boat were out, and they were clapping and taking part in the celebration as well. And people began to dance. They were all standing in a circle, and then somebody jumped into the middle, and they started dancing, which is, that's what people do commonly in the Arab world as well as here. So someone came over to ask Lorna to get up and dance, and at first she said no because she didn't know the people, but then she realized that it was somehow they were connected with the boat. Either somebody worked there or it was the family of someone that worked there, so she agreed to go and do a little dance.